Have you ever looked into a pair of broken eyes and felt them whisper, "Please, don't give up on me"? That was the moment I met Fenya, a cat so disfigured by trauma that most people would have thought her beyond saving. But I didn't. Because sometimes, it's not about what we see with our eyes. It's about what we choose to believe with our heart. The first time I saw Fenya, I could hardly believe she was a cat. Her face was swollen beyond recognition, distorted, misshapen, like life had taken a cruel sculptor's chisel to her innocence. Her nose was almost gone, and each breath she took sounded like a quiet cry from the edge of survival. Her body trembled uncontrollably. And her eyes, those deeply broken, helpless eyes, were not asking for pity. They were begging for one thing: "Please, don't let me die." She was found lying on the roadside, in the drizzle of a cold morning. People assumed she had been hit by a car. But to me, it looked like something more than physical trauma. It was the mark of abandonment, of pain no creature should ever endure alone. The man who brought her in said nothing except, "Please, save her." I saw the desperation in his hands as he set the carrier down. No words, no backstory. Just silent hope. When I opened the carrier, I was met with something that looked closer to a ruin than a life. Fenya couldn't meow. Couldn't groom. Her tongue hung motionless. She was drenched in her own suffering, her body bruised, her spirit buried beneath fear. As I touched her gently, I whispered, more to myself than her, "Fenya, please don't scratch. Please, don't hurt yourself more. We're here to help." The first surgery wasn't a miracle. It was survival. It was the line we drew between life and loss. But the true miracle began in the days after. Not in the operating room. But in the moments we shared, the quiet, raw, human moments that medicine alone couldn't reach. We didn't just stitch her skin. We stitched hope into her days. We taught her to breathe again, to eat again, to trust again. Her tongue, though unsteady, found new ways to work. Her lungs, though strained, found their rhythm. Her eyes, though once dulled by terror, began to glimmer with quiet resilience. She started to move, awkwardly at first, then stronger. She began to respond to her name. And one night, as I cleaned her wounds and hummed softly to calm her, she did something I hadn't expected. She leaned her head into my hand and slept. I broke down. Because in that tiny gesture, I understood, she wasn't surviving anymore. She was choosing to live. Week by week, breath by breath, Fenya returned. Not the way she used to be, not physically, but in the way that mattered most. Her body bore scars, yes. But her soul, it was healing. She would never have the perfect feline face again. And that's okay. Because Fenya didn't just regain life. She rediscovered dignity. She learned what it meant to be seen, not as broken, but as worthy. And I learned something too. That healing isn't always about restoration. Sometimes, it's about transformation. Fenya is more than a rescue case. She's a quiet revolution, a reminder that when the world turns its back, love can still reach forward. She is proof that if we dare to believe in life, even the most shattered heart can find its way back. Fenya didn't just survive. She bloomed. Her scars remained, yes. A slight wheeze still lingered in her breath. But none of that mattered. Because now, Fenya wasn't just alive, she was living. She found joy in the little things, the sunbeams on the clinic windowsill, the softness of a warm blanket, the gentle brush of my hand as I passed by. She learned to play again, chasing shadows with clumsy grace, purring like a tiny engine that had finally been restarted. And her eyes changed. They no longer asked why this happened. They simply sparkled with gratitude that she was still here. Fenya now spends her days curled up in the corner of my home office, watching the world with quiet curiosity. She greets me with a soft trill every morning and follows me like a shadow through the day. She has a favorite toy, a feathered one we call the dancing bird, and a favorite spot by the window where she naps as if the world never hurt her. I often catch myself smiling at her. Not just because she made it, but because she taught me something I never want to forget. That even a broken life can still be beautiful. That healing is never just physical. It's about trust. About love. About choosing to believe that the worst thing that's ever happened to us doesn't have to be the end of our story. Fenya's story isn't one of tragedy anymore. It's a story of grace, resilience, and the quiet power of never giving up. And every time she looks at me with those once shattered eyes, now glowing with peace, I'm reminded. Sometimes, we don't just save animals. Sometimes, they save us too.